everyone! Welcome back to a new episode of Nerd Central. I'm your host, Corby Reardon, and I've been feeling invincible recently. Last week was a little rough with the news, but I have a feeling this week will be better. So let's get right into the news for today. To start us off, we got a confirmation about our favorite blind superhero, Daredevil. But it may not be what you think. According to Entertainment Weekly, Brad Winderbaum revealed at New York Comic Con that they are communicating a lot with the team on Spider-Man Brand New Day to make sure that there's a coherence there. And also said, we don't want to spoil anything, but it very much exists in the same world and it is important. Not only that, but a star from the show leaked 20 seconds of the trailer. What you're seeing is leaked footage by Kristen Ritter, who plays Jessica Jones, as she's attending the NYCC. And the 19 seconds look pretty interesting. Up next, we have a new trailer and a release date for a very hyped anime adaptation. The creator of Full Metal Alchemist has released a new trailer for her new anime, Demons of the Shadow Realm. The creator is world-renowned for her creation of Full Metal, so hopes are high for this adaptation. You can catch the new anime releasing in April of 2026 next year. And finally for news, we get to talk about Season 4 of Okay, sorry about that guys. I really wanted to do that. But anyways, we saw the new trailer where they repeat the same bit of Mark talking to a character from the show in a simple one-on-one conversation. In the trailer, Mark talks about the previous season's moments while also foreshadowing what it is to come in the new season. The new season will drop in March of next year, so make sure to check that out. And that's a wrap on the news. And man, it felt good to talk about all that. Like, last week was so dry. And you all know what comes next, right? So Josh, hit us with another Mole Movies pack.
Hey everyone, my name is Josh Oswald, and welcome to Mole Movies, where every week I watch a movie that's somewhat underappreciated, underground, or straight up forgotten about, and then I give you my thoughts on them and what I like so much about them. Don't worry, I won't be pulling any 1923 Serbian silent films told from the perspective of a sad shoelace, but we might get there eventually. So with all that out of the way, let's get talking about today's film, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, and released in the US on October 20th, 2017. Based on the Greek tragedy Iphigenia at Aulis, this film follows a family's peculiar interactions with a teenage boy and how his presence turns sinister quickly. One of the more odd films I've talked about in this series, but this is truly one of the most unique concepts for a horror film, and the presentation style of the music, dialogue, and cinematography all sort of go against the grain in terms of modern horror film look, but all equally play into the unease that sustains throughout most of the film. Contrary to loud abrupt thumps or streaks of music in modern horror, this film relies on unease. In several instances, a sole string is playing in the background to create discontent in the viewer, with many more strings swelling in the background to make the viewer feel sort of overwhelmed and struggling to focus. The deadpan delivery in the dialogue makes the characters feel cold and inhuman, which highlights a lot of emphasis on their actions toward and with each other, and also highlights the literality in their word choice. The wide-angle lenses and slow pans play into the sense of being viewed or judged by a higher being, playing into the themes of the film, but also the tragedy. To give more context on the film, let me explain the tragedy briefly. Set just before the Trojan War, the play follows Agamemnon, who is leading an army to Troy, but the wind won't blow their sails. This causes the army to pressure Agamemnon to sacrifice his daughter to appease the god Artemis, who they believe is upset because of the army killing her sacred stag. Does that last part sound familiar? One of the biggest adjustments the viewer has to make for this film is not the story or subject matter, but rather the presentation style. The most common search result when typing the director's name in Google is, "Why are Yorgos Lanthimos movies like that?" The deadpan dialogue can be off-putting, but the director wants to deliberately use that clinical style of filmmaking to highlight humanity even in a world seemingly devoid of it. The choice of a family figurehead having to make the choice of sacrificing one of his own at the risk of everyone else in the family is so dauntingly unimaginable that you can't even process how you would go about the situation, yet this film manages to take you through all of it. That's really what impresses me so much about this film. The acting feels inauthentic, yet once the devastation sets in, it's extremely compelling and unnerving. The shift this film takes in the second half is so good that you can't help but just watch the unfortunate reality play out. And the theming of cosmic justice is always something that everyone can somewhat relate to, especially with just how often this cosmic justice feels like an unfortunate injustice, truly giving more impact to the phrase, an eye for an eye and the world goes blind. However, I'm gonna have to leave it there. This film is abstract and extremely clever and also benefits from not a lot of context beforehand, so watch this where you can and form your own opinion. I would give The Killing of a Sacred Deer a 9 out of 10, and I highly recommend this to anyone who enjoyed films like Under the Skin, Infinity Pool, and Poor Things. Thanks for watching and see you next week.
A great pack as always, Josh. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I've been craving another episode of Monster Mash. Why don't we see what Hayden's up to?
What if the monsters we fear most used to be us? Zombies have been shambling through our screens for nearly a century, and while they've changed in their meaning, message, and shape, they've never quite died. Kinda. So today, let's talk about how zombies crawled from folklore into film, television, and even some games, and never quite died again. Before Hollywood, zombies weren't even monsters. They were victims. In Haitian folklore, zombie was a human enslaved through dark magic, a symbol of colonialism and loss of free will. It wasn't the flesh-eating apocalypse yet, just hypnotized humans trapped between life and death. The true modern zombie didn't come about until 1968, when Romero released Night of the Living Dead, and it changed everything. Romero's zombies weren't magical. They were ambiguous, horrifying, but most importantly, human. They didn't just eat flesh, they represented decay itself, a decay of society, morality, and trust. In Night of the Living Dead, the zombies outside weren't the only threat. The people inside were tearing each other apart. And that idea that the zombies aren't the thing that's truly causing the apocalypse, but humanity itself, that became the heartbeat of zombie media. As the decades rolled on, zombies evolved. And by the 2000s, the genre exploded again. 28 Days Later redefined them with rage and speed. Shaun of the Dead mixed comedy with existential dread, and The Walking Dead turned zombies into an emotional epic, where survival wasn't the question, but what's left after you survive. They weren't just horror anymore. They were a reflection of the worst parts of humanity. The Last of Us made them tragic with fungus instead of flesh, but the message stayed the same. The issue wasn't the zombies. It was humanity. A video game inspired by movies that were inspired by folklore became one of the best shows of the last few years. The undead came full circle, more alive than ever. Kinda. In every era, they represent what we fear losing most. Our humanity. Our control. Because every time we look at them, we see ourselves, just emptier. And that might be the scariest thing about them. They're not from another world. They're what happens when ours ends. So yeah, zombies may rot, but their stories never do. They just keep getting back up.
Oh, man, what another great installment from Hayden LaValle. Why don't we learn about another monster, a monster truck, Blue Thunder. Take it away, Wiley.
In the world of monster trucks, some beasts roar with power, but only a few strike like lightning. Welcome back to Legends of Destruction. Today, we ride the storm with one of the most electrifying machines to ever hit the dirt, Blue Thunder.
Like a flash of lightning, this 1,460 horsepower Ford Super Duty monster truck thunders across the country on its massive 66-inch tires. Like a powerful storm cloud, this 10,400-pound beast reigns on the competition thanks to its massive size. 10 feet tall and 12 feet wide, all sitting on a 142-inch wheelbase.
Blue Thunder debuted on January 6, 2001, inside the Houston Astrodome. Built as part of Ford's Built Ford Tough campaign, this truck was a statement of strength, precision, and style. And it all started with its body. The original body was modeled after the 1999 Ford F-250 Super Duty. Massive, bold, and instantly recognizable. Its sides were streaked with jagged lightning bolts that seemed to pulse with energy, wrapping around a chrome grille that shimmered like the calm before a storm. Every detail on that truck was designed to make a statement. This was more than a monster machine. It was a moving thundercloud roaring through the arena. As the years rolled on, Blue Thunder evolved. The F-250 body gave way to a sleeker F-150 modernized to match Ford's changing look while staying true to its stormy blue heritage. In 2008, the Lightning became more dynamic, bold arcs stretching across both sides like electricity caught in motion. Then in 2013, the body got a facelift. Brighter bolts, darker tones, and sharper contours that gave Blue Thunder a more aggressive presence than ever before. It wasn't just paint, it was personality. The body told you everything you needed to know before the truck even moved. Even after Ford's sponsorship ended, the body design carried on. Fans recognized it instantly. The bold bolts, the metallic shine, the way it reflected the stadium's lights like a storm rolling in at night. From the States to Europe, the look of Blue Thunder never changed. It was clean, fierce, and timeless. When it rolled into a stadium, you didn't need an introduction. You knew Thunder was coming. The body of Blue Thunder became a symbol of speed, of precision, and of power wrapped in artistry. It stood as proof that a truck's identity isn't just built under the hood, but crafted on the surface. From the early 250 frame to the modern F-150 lines, every inch of Blue Thunder told the story of a storm that refused to fade. It was sleek, it was striking, it was unforgettable. Blue Thunder was a storm in steel and forever, a legend of destruction.
What another great episode, Wiley. It's so fun learning about monster trucks like Blue Thunder. I still think Monster Mutt's my favorite though. Well, looks like it's time for a commercial break, but stay tuned, we got more great packs right after this.
Northwest Tower Yearbook has dedicated over a century to documenting life on campus and in the Maryville community. The award-winning organization has numerous Pacemaker Awards and a spot in the Associated Collegiate Press Hall of Fame. Learn more about Tower at the handles below.
Like the old saying goes,
out with the old, in with the new.
New Game Plus, your new place for everything video game
And tech related. With new wacky shenanigans.
and new packs from your new crew.
So get ready, we're skipping the tutorial with this one.
So watch New Game Plus right here.
Tuesdays at noon on KNWT.
Welcome back from the commercial breaks. I told you we got more great packs lined up. Up next is a pack from Isaac in Rogues Gallery.
Welcome back everybody to another episode of the Rogues Gallery, your guys' favorite spot to sit down, relax, and analyze famous fictional villains. This episode we're going to be looking at the Wicked Witch from the West. We aren't in Kansas anymore. Let's get right into it. The Wicked Witch of the West, originally known as Elphaba Throb, was born fully green from head to toe with magical powers, but she was also born with a very strange skin condition that if any water touched her would literally melt her skin. She was born this way because her mother was conned by a very strange man into drinking what he called green elixir while she was pregnant, which resulted in the way that Elphaba was born. As she grew up, she was always picked on as a kid for her peculiar looks and her magical abilities. Her father had always resented her. Even though she had these social problems, she was still a very outgoing and smart kid who just had a hard time fitting in. As she grew up, Elphaba was finally able to go to Shiz University in the Land of Oz. Upon arriving, she was introduced to her roommate, Glinda. While attending Shiz, Elphaba started to uncover some very strange and secretive things going on behind the curtains. She used magic to grant a monkey wings to be able to fly to freedom, but in doing this, realized that it only harmed and weakened the animal. Realizing that this was not okay, she went to the Wizard of Oz to see what she could do. And this is where he revealed that he was not who he said he was. He was using this magic to be able to manipulate people into taking control of magical creatures and animals. In trying to convince the people of Oz of what the wizard was doing, he used his powerful influence to persuade them all into taking his side and believing that she was wicked. One of the craziest elements of this whole story is that strange man who I talked about at the very beginning of this episode. The one that made her mother drink the green elixir is actually the Wizard of Oz. Having the entire land of Oz turn against her and see her as something she wasn't, She fit into the role and became what they said she was, the Wicked Witch of the West. Way now in the future, a house one day flew in from a tornado and landed, which had a pair of ruby slippers that were very, very powerful. And now that she was gone, there was nothing stopping the Wicked Witch from being able to get them. Dorothy took the ruby slippers and took them with her for the rest of her travel, and this made the Wicked Witch very mad. After many failed attempts, she was finally able to capture Dorothy. These shoes were very powerful, and within that, they had magic that only the wearer could take them off. Trying to think of a way to get these ruby slippers, she first attempted to set the Scarecrow on fire, and Dorothy, trying to help her friend, found a nearby water bucket and threw it onto the Scarecrow, missing and hitting Elphaba. And with this happening, it killed her.
You cursed rat! Look what you've done! I'm melting! Melting! Oh, what a world! What a world!
Thank you everyone for watching yet another episode of the Rogues Gallery. If you enjoyed it this week, make sure to come back next week to see what fictional villain we discover next.
Up next is a pack from me, once again. Now, it may be week 5, but today I'm talking about Scream 6. Take it away, me. No. Oh, well hello, and welcome back to Now Screaming. It's great to see you back as always. And today I wanted to... Oh, looks like I'm getting a phone call. Hello?
Hello, Corby.
Come on, are we seriously gonna do this right now?
What do you mean?
But, you know, the whole phone call thing, it's a little overdone.
Ha! Rich coming from you. You love meta.
Yeah, but I also like being original.
What?
Goodbye.
Wait.
Sorry, guys. I only got 3 minutes. Can't waste it all on the opening bit. But if you couldn't tell already, today's movie is Scream 6.
Scream 6 is a 2023 slasher and our first film that comes from a well-established franchise. This movie is the 5th sequel to the original Scream that was released all the way back in 1996. Scream 6 is the second movie in the Scream reboot trilogy that started with Scream 5 in 2022. Its screenplay was written by James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick, and the movie itself was directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett.
Now tell them about my killing spree.
Alright, I'm getting to it. The movie follows our 2 main sisters, Sam and Tara Carpenter, who after the events of the 5th movie, decided to finally get the heck out of Woodsboro and live in New York City. Unfortunately for them, Ghostface isn't like other iconic slasher villains. He isn't confined to only one location. We follow the Carpenter sisters as they try to survive the attacks of yet another killer Ghostface plot. With the help of characters old and new, they must face the ghost that followed them to New York.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Thanks. I try.
Oh, you already know what time it is. It's time to get to the PGS scale.
Plot. If you're a fan of the Scream franchise, this movie will be a great watch for you. With sprinkles of fan service and an actual change of scenery, this movie finally takes the series to new heights and creatively utilizes their location with a great cast of characters. This is a solid 4 out of 5. Gore.
It's about time.
Scream 6 does what Scream is known for, killing off characters left and right with that iconic peanut-eyed ghost costume. With the setting of New York City, our villain gets pretty crafty this time around and offers some of the best moments in the franchise to date. That's another 4 out of 5. Scares. The idea of a masked killer tracking you down in a city full of people every hour of the day is pretty eerie. This keeps our characters on their toes everywhere they go, from the subway, to the streets, to even their own apartment. I smell another 4 out of 5. That gives Scream 6 a PGS rating of 4 out of 5.
That is all for this episode of Now Screaming. I hope you had fun, and I'll see you next time. Not today. Well, that was a good pack, me. I'm sure people will be all screams to see the next one.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Well, anyways, if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to never miss content from us. Be sure to check back next week where we have more news from New York's Comic-Con again. And let me tell you, it's gonna be sick. I'm your host, Corby Raridan, and I'll see you all next week. Stay nerdy.